Have you ever looked at a couple that just seems to work and wondered, what's their secret? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the architecture of a strong partnership. We're going to give you the actual blueprint for building a relationship that doesn't just survive, but truly lasts. So, let's get into it. First things first, let's tackle a huge myth that we're all kind of sold. This whole idea of finding the one. This perfect soulmate who just fits into your life like a puzzle piece, no effort required. But is that how it really works? Are these amazing partnerships just a matter of dumb luck, or are they a matter of work? Well, the research is crystal clear. Great relationships are built. They are not discovered. They're the result of intentional, daily choices. And you know what? That's actually the best news, because it means you have the power to create one. So today, we're handing you the blueprint. Okay, so just like any strong structure, whether we're talking about a skyscraper or a partnership, it all has to start with an unshakable foundation. These aren't just, nice to haves. These are the absolute non-negotiables that hold everything else up, especially when things get rocky. So, our very first pillar is respect. And listen, this goes so far beyond just being polite. It's about genuinely admiring your partner for their character, seeing them as a whole, separate person with their own valid thoughts, feelings, and boundaries. It means you don't just love them, you actually hold them in high regard. Next up, pillar 2, trust. Now, again, this is about way more than just fidelity. It's that core belief that your partner means what they say and that they're going to be honest with you, even when it's super uncomfortable. See, true trust creates this safe space where you can both be completely vulnerable without fearing judgment, and that is absolutely essential for a deep connection. And our third foundational pillar is intimacy. Now, our minds often jump straight to the physical, right? But true intimacy, it's so much broader than that. It's emotional intimacy, feeling totally understood and supported. It's intellectual intimacy, sharing ideas and passions. It's this multi-layered closeness that creates a really profound sense of belonging with your partner. So you might be thinking, okay, but where does love fit into all this? You'd think it's the foundation, but this quote from Mark Manson just nails it. He says, love is the product of a healthy relationship. Think about it. People stay in deeply toxic situations all the time because they love each other. Love by itself is not enough. It's the respect, the trust, and the intimacy that create a healthy environment where real, lasting love can actually grow. So once that foundation is solid, how do you actually build the rest of the relationship day by day? Well, it's not about the grand romantic gestures you see in movies. Nope. It's all about the small, consistent daily actions. These are the bricks you lay every single day. And I want to give you a number that could literally change your relationship. It's so simple, but it is so powerful, and it only takes a moment. And that number is 6. What am I talking about? The 6-second kiss. That's right. Research from the legendary Gottman Institute shows that a kiss that lasts at least 6 seconds is just long enough to trigger the release of oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. It's this tiny little ritual that physically tells your bodies, hey, we're safe, we're connected. It turns a quick peck on the cheek into a real moment of prioritizing each other. And that 6-second kiss perfectly illustrates the power of what experts call rituals of connection. These are the little habits that keep a partnership strong. It could be a morning bookend, just sharing a cup of coffee before the day's chaos begins. Or maybe it's a 20-minute tech-free check-in. No phones, no TV, just talking. Or an appreciation ritual where you end every single day by saying thank you for one thing. This is the micro-maintenance that prevents the relationship from breaking down over time. Okay, so you've laid a solid foundation, and you're doing the daily work. Awesome. But every structure, every single one, has to be able to withstand storms. So let's talk about the 2 biggest stressors that really test a relationship's integrity: conflict and logistics. The legendary relationship researcher, Dr. John Gottman, I mentioned him before, he identified 4 communication styles that are so destructive. He calls them the 4 horsemen. And get this, he can predict the end of a relationship with stunning accuracy just by spotting them. Knowing what they are is the first huge step to avoiding them.
So the first horseman is criticism. Now, this is not the same as a complaint. A complaint is about a specific action, like, I was worried when you were late. Criticism, on the other hand, attacks the person's character. You're so thoughtless. You're always late. You feel that difference? One is about an issue. The other is a flat-out personal attack.
The second one, and honestly the most toxic, is contempt. This is when you express disgust with your partner. Think sarcasm, name-calling, eye-rolling, mockery. Contempt isn't just being negative, it's communicating from a place of moral superiority, like you're better than them. And it is the single greatest predictor of divorce. Period. Okay, the third horseman is defensiveness. We've all been there. It's that immediate knee-jerk reaction to play the innocent victim or to flip the blame. So instead of actually hearing your partner's concern, you shoot back with, well, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't. It just completely shuts down any chance of actually solving the problem. And finally, we have stonewalling. This is when one partner just completely withdraws, shuts down, and stops responding. Now, it's often a reaction to feeling emotionally flooded or overwhelmed, but to the other person, it feels like talking to a brick wall. It's the ultimate act of disconnection. So what's the alternative? I mean, what do you do instead? Well, the goal isn't to avoid conflict. That's impossible. The goal is to transform it. Healthy conflict is about replacing the personal attacks with addressing the issue. You swap the goal of winning the fight for the goal of mutual understanding. You shift from being opponents to being a team, tackling the problem together. All right, on to the second major stress test, logistics. Yep, the boring stuff. Specifically, what's called the mental load. All that invisible cognitive work of anticipating needs, planning things, and just managing a household. When all of that falls on one person, it breeds a massive amount of resentment. Eve Rodsky's Fair Play method offers a brilliant solution for this. It's built on this idea of true ownership, which has 3 steps. You have to conceive the need for something, plan the solution, and then execute the task. So when one person takes full ownership of all 3 of those steps for any given task, it totally eliminates the need for reminders and nagging. It turns household management into real teamwork. So as we wrap this all up, you can really see that a relationship that is built to last isn't some happy accident. It's a deliberate, almost architectural process of building a life together with skill and with intention. So here it is, your blueprint boiled down. You start with that solid foundation of respect, trust, and intimacy. Then you layer on those daily rituals of connection to keep the bond strong. When conflict comes up, and it will, you steer clear of the 4 horsemen. You share the mental and logistical load fairly. And above all, you treat your partnership as something you actively choose and build every single day. But you know, a blueprint is only as good as the work that follows, right? So I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about. Looking at your own relationship, what is the first small, intentional brick that you are going to lay today?